You're listening to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast with your hosts, Chad and Dave.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 267. Only two away from the extravaganza, episode 269. I'm Dale. Chad is away on holiday in Mexico. I'm flying solo here for a quick little podcast. Thought I'd come on, give my thoughts about what's been going on recently, but in particular, the loss to the Nashville Predators on Saturday night. Okay, look, didn't do the podcast directly after the game. I'm on here doing it Sunday afternoon. Oh, man. The Leafs blow a 2-0 lead, and Nashville scores 5 unanswered goals. Leafs lose 5-0 in Nashville. Look, what can you really say here? I don't want to go nuts here, but that was basically a steaming pile of dog shit. Let's be absolutely honest. Pathetic effort, okay? They show up in the first period. For maybe 10 minutes of the first period, they're looking pretty good. You're playing the Nashville Predators. The Nashville Predators. We're not playing, look, the Leafs had won 3 straight games going in, which was good because, they were on a losing streak. Then they beat the Rangers. They beat Colorado. There was some good stuff going on there, especially the Colorado win. So coming in on a 3-game winning streak, but again, you blow a 2-0 lead against Nashville, and it's just they pissed it away. They pissed away another one. They can't keep the momentum going. I know you're going to lose games. I understand it. You're not going to run off, 13 straight victories here to end the season. I get it all. But losing to Nashville, come on, one of the worst teams in the league all season long. I don't understand it, man. I'm going to get into some stuff here, what I thought was some positives that have been going on lately, even a little bit last night, but there's not a lot of positive to take away from that. But look, I don't know what to say here other than the fact that, how can you really, and I mean really, take these guys seriously? You win a couple, whatever. And the night they beat Colorado, great. Any win against Colorado is great for sure. But Colorado didn't play their best game. And then they went in the next night, Colorado to Montreal, and they pumped them. So whatever. More on Montreal too in a second here. But how can you truly take these guys seriously? The Toronto Maple Leafs. How can you? I just don't understand how you don't beat Nashville. The Atlantic Division title is just sitting there waiting for you. No one else wants to grab it either. Saturday night, the Florida Panthers lost. The Tampa Bay Lightning lost. So the Leafs could have made up ground easily, but they just can't find a way to do it. They didn't lose ground, I guess, because the teams right around them fighting for top spot in the division also lost. But here's a game where they should have won. They lost. They could have gained on Tampa. They could have gained on Florida, inching a little closer to winning the Atlantic Division. But what do? Pile of dog shit. Just not interested. 5 unanswered goals by the Nashville Predators. Let's get serious, man. What happened? Did they fell asleep? Not interested in what? You can't play a complete game against Nashville, just not interested in doing it. It's not a good look. And I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't like their overall effort level. I think it's pathetic, to be honest, in particular in games like that. How can you take these guys seriously? I look at it as they're just so fucking soft. They are so soft. It is laughable at times. It's hard to watch. This has been going on all season long. They've had their ups and their downs, but when they really when's the last time you saw this team really play a complete 60 minutes where you thought, oh man, looking at that product on the ice, oh, that team, they've got it. They've really got something cooking here that is a recipe for success in the playoffs. I haven't seen it. Maybe one game against Tampa earlier in the year. Like you could count on one hand how many times they've really showed up and pumped a team, like just beat the balls off them right out of the building. They don't do it. They do not do it. Like they just don't have it in them, whatever the case may be. Like if they do have it in them, they don't show it nearly enough. Talking about the top guys again, like specifically Mitch and Austin. Okay, they looked okay through the first 10 minutes of this game and then just completely fell asleep. Not interested in doing the right things. Mitch won't go into the corners and win battles. Like Austin's looked a little better, like he's been putting up points and what have you, but still nowhere near where it needs to be. And I just don't think it's a good look. With like we're getting closer to 10 games left before the playoffs start. And I don't know, man. It's concerning all around. Wall didn't play good. Like literally pick one thing out of that Nashville game in particular that was like you can take away as a positive. Like there may be one thing, I'll get to it in a second here, but there's not a lot. There is not a lot of positives that you can take away from this. Like 5 unanswered goals by the Nashville Predators, blowing a 2-0 lead. Like what do you take away from that other than dog shit effort, man? Absolute dog shit. So like I can't pick one guy. I really can't. Like I don't know. It's brutal. But overall, going back to what I just said, they're too soft. I was flipping back and forth, as I saw the lead starting to slip as that Nashville game got going, flipping back and forth, watching the Ottawa Jersey game at times, watching the Montreal Colorado game at times. I think Colorado was beating the Habs 4-1 at the Bell Center in Montreal on Saturday night. And the comeback starts for Montreal. And Ottawa was like beating Jersey. They ended up beating them 3-1. The Habs did lose in a shootout, but they showed fight. Man, like watching that Habs team and watching that Sens team, like just they play completely different than the way the Toronto Maple Leafs play. They approach it completely different than the Toronto Maple Leafs approach it. Montreal, so impressed by that hockey team. They look to me like they're going to get one of the wildcard spots. Obviously, the Sens are going to get one of the wildcard spots, but just the fight in the dog of those two teams in particular, Toronto and Montreal, just watch a period of how they play hockey. They're strong on the forecheck. They're defending well. They're leaving it out there, I guess it's what I would say. How many times do the Leafs leave it out there? Almost never do they leave it out there. It's not a good look, man. But just, comparing them to Ottawa, comparing them to Montreal, these guys, man, they fight for one another. Like, they're not afraid to get into scrums or do things that, like, the necessary things to win. Like, do I think the Sens or the Habs are going to win the cup? I don't think so. But, like, they're going to, when they get in if the Habs make it, okay, they may or they may not get the second wildcard spot, whatever. They could still catch the Sens too. And the Sens, who knows, like probably one of the wild card spots, but they could potentially catch Tampa. Like who knows what's going to happen. So, it still is up in the air as to what happens with the Leafs, whether they win the Atlantic or they end up finishing second and it's Tampa, or who knows who's going to play who. Like they win the Atlantic, they could end up playing Ottawa or the Montreal Canadiens. More likely it would be this if they win the Atlantic, it would be the second it would be the first wildcard team, because the Washington Capitals look like they're going to win the Eastern Conference, win the Metro, and they will play the second wildcard team, which could be Montreal. But I'll tell you what, I think the Habs, if the Habs get in, they're going to give whoever they play a tough go, because just the way they team, the way the team is and the way they play. Same with the Sens. They might lose in the first round, but they might not. If it ends up being Florida, or it could be Toronto, or who knows whoever it's going to be, they play tough. The way they play, the way those two teams play, Ottawa and Montreal, is just completely different than the Leafs. The Leafs rely on their skill, and if their skill isn't enough and their skill doesn't show up, they have no other way to beat you. No other way to beat you. It's like the skilled guys get it done or they're toast. Nothing. Unless you get a strong goaltending performance, like, there are other ways, I guess, but you can't really rely on that all the time. And that sure as hell wasn't there on Saturday night with Joseph Walls. So I don't know. It's concerning. There's all kinds of stuff going on here that I don't like going into the playoffs, especially when I see teams around them in the same division like Montreal and Ottawa. Just the way they play is so drastically different than the way the Leafs play. It's mind-blowing, really. Like, why can some teams figure it out? Like, oh, we need to go to the net. We need to do these specific things. Play hard, win puck battles in the corner, defend well, and not be so fucking soft all the time. Why can these other teams figure it out, but the Leafs are just left in no man's land of like, oh, ho-hum, whatever. Try to poke a stick in and grab the puck to, like, not really creating turnovers, like not great zone entries. The list goes on. It's brutal, man. But anyway, I'll get into a few more things here, but I'm going to go right now because the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast has partnered up with the Hockey Podcast Network and DraftKings, and it's finally spring outside, not right around the corner anymore. Spring has arrived, and how can you tell? Golfers hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Also, March Madness, the NCAA tournament has started. Go over to DraftKings and bet on the March Madness. It's a crazy tournament if you want to do that. NHL, preseason baseball, NBA, whatever. It's all over there at DraftKings. But, specifically going back to golf, from Thursday's opening round through the closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live bets, odd boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. It's just that easy. And like I said as well, March Madness time of year, which is incredible. Go over, bet on some NCAA basketball, college hoops. Absolutely great. But here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. So like I said, golf, hockey, March Madness, whatever you want to do, head over to DraftKings. Use the code on the screen there right now, THPN. Get $150 in instant bets immediately. Okay, back to the Leafs here. Look. Okay, to take maybe some positives, a couple positives. Tavares ripping the puck in the net, scored his 30th goal of the season. He has looked good lately for sure. And I would say that line of Tavares, Nylander, and McMahon. So they kind of split. They're still, I'm going to get to the bottom six here before I wrap it up, but they moved McMahon off the third line up to play. Pontus Holmberg has been like that second line winger with Nylander and Tavares for way too long. That's not going to work ever in any scenario. That is not going to be good enough in the playoffs. I don't care what anybody says, not going to work. Bobby McMahon, wow, this guy has been very impressive. Even in the loss last night against Nashville, I thought he was one of the best players. Strong on the puck, driving the net, creating speed, doing good things defensively and offensively. Nylander, not so much. Not last night anyway. Haven't loved his game as of late, but Tavares putting the puck in. I think McMahon up with those guys, that's what it needs to be. If Berube is so set in keeping Austin with Mitch and Nyes, like, I don't have a problem with that, I guess. Like, I don't love it because we've seen it so many times before where Mitch and Austin just can't get it done in big games. But if that's where Berube's head is at, like, that has been the top line for the majority of the season, I guess that's what we're going to see. So if that's the case, I want to see McMahon up there, permanent winger the rest of the way here with Nylander and John Tavares. That's where I'm at. I think McMahon has played well when they put him up in the top 6. Keep him there. Keep him there. There's no need to take him off that. Like, who else are you going to put there? Lawton, I'll get more into him in a second. Yes, you could potentially put Lawton there. It can't be Holmberg. There's no, like, it could be Domi. There are other guys you could do it with, but I don't think any of them would look as good as Bobby McMahon in that position. Let me know what you think on that, guys. Like, you want to see McMahon stay there? Let me know. Leave a comment below, whatever. I think he's a lock. Personally, I would not touch Bobby McMahon. I like the way that cat is playing right now in the top 6 with those two guys. Would not touch it. Would not touch it the rest of the way. I want to see that going into the playoffs. I think he just brings you something on that line that you haven't seen with the other guys, especially Pontus Holmberg. Holy hell, let's get serious. I'm going to go to Lawton. Few more things before I get out of here. Lawton and Carlo. Okay, look, what Tree Living has gave up to get these two guys. Like, I think Lawton and Carlo come in, and it looks like they just totally forgot how to play hockey. Like, have you seen anything really out of Lawton or Carlo even? Like, I know Carlo's playing with Riley, so, like, I guess what do you expect? Because it's Morgan Riley. He's brutal. He has been absolutely freaking brutal, Morgan Riley. No matter if he's playing with Ekman Larson, it doesn't matter who he's playing with. He's been brutal. Like, Carlo's not my favorite defenseman by far, not even close. But big body, heavy guy, but he doesn't really play that style. So, like, I've just been so, like, underwhelmed by Lawton and by Carlo so far. It like, to me, it just looks like, oh, here we go. They come to the Leafs and, like, they just forgot how to play hockey all of a sudden. Like, they are blending in with the rest of the guys on the team that are just kind of like, oh, ho hum, like, now I play for the blue and white team, so I guess I can just, like, pick up their habits and play the way they usually do, which is, like, no chance at fucking winning anything seriously, like really winning. I don't know. I want to see so much more out of Lawton and so much more out of Carlo, like, especially what Tree Living gave up to get them. It just needs to be so much better from those two guys and everybody else too. Like, I mean, just the same old cast of characters. Like, just pick it up, step it up, do something fucking different. Try to play a different way that can actually maybe have success instead of the same old crap that we always see that never leads to success. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about trying to find a real third line, okay? Like, patchwork all over the place. I guess their best third line all season has been Robertson with Domi and McMahon. That I don't think is going to happen. Like, Domi's going to play in the playoffs, but he's a tiny guy. He plays bigger than he is. Robertson, size-wise, I just don't see him playing in the playoffs. Like, could he potentially pop you in a goal here and there? Well, sure, he could, but I don't see it. I think Robertson is the odd man out, and I'm going to throw how I would potentially, put the top or the bottom 6 together. I'll start with, like, I want to see a real third line come in here and, like, stick together. Like, we're getting close to 10 games left. You got to try to find something in the bottom 6 that makes sense. I thought David Camp was horrible on Saturday night against Nashville. Not strong on the puck, not taking the body at all, just poking his stick in like, oh, this will work. Like, I'll just poke my stick at the puck. Take the fucking body, dude. Be hard on the puck. Be strong on it. Be physical. Camp is a monster as well, but plays like a fucking kitten. So yeah, a good penalty killer, absolutely, no doubt about it. But, like, what else does he bring you? Like, what else? I don't know. I'm lost a little bit here with the bottom 6. But I guess if I had my way, my thoughts on what the third line maybe should look like going into the playoffs, a couple reiterations I would throw out there. One would be Lawton at center, because he's been on the 4th line, and that could still potentially be a thing too. Like, again, going back to what the Leafs gave up to get Lawton, and he's stuck on the 4th line. That doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, they probably could have just kept Connor Dewar to do the same thing that, like, Lawton's been doing, and they could have saved Grabankin, and they could have saved fucking first round draft pick. So whatever, but they didn't do that. So here we are. I think maybe a third line of Lawton, Domi, and if Pacioretty can play, Pacioretty on the other side. I think that could be a line that, like, the way Pacioretty's played when he's been healthy this season, I've loved it. Throwing his weight around, doing great things, and he's still got a goal-scoring touch. Domi, like, I just think that could be a heavy third line. Pacioretty, Lawton, and Domi. If Pacioretty is just not going to be able to play, or if he gets injured again, which would obviously surprise nobody, I think the guy I'd like to see there in his place, maybe you keep Lawton and Domi there on the third line, and you give Lorentz a chance to be like on the a little higher up in the lineup. Like, I think Lorentz obviously is not Pacioretty, clearly, but if Pacioretty can't be there, I think Lorentz brings you a little closer to what Pacioretty does rather than a Holmberg or who's another guy that, like, who's going to be there? Yarncroc? Okay, maybe. I don't know. So let me know what your thoughts on a third line of Pacioretty, Lawton, Domi potentially going forward here, or if Pacioretty is a no-go, Lorentz, Lawton, and Domi. Love to get your thoughts on that. That's kind of where I'm at for like a third line, hard to play against, might pop one in here and there, but just be fucking smart, play heavy, play hard. That's kind of where I'm at with the third line going forward, what I'd like to see. I've got two different versions of a potential fourth line, I guess, depending on what would happen with the third line. People might think I'm crazy here, but my first one might be Kampf, Holmberg, Yarncroc. So an all-European fourth line that might just bring you something different in the playoffs. Like, you don't really know what you're going to get out of Holmberg, Yarncroc. Obviously, Kampf isn't really, like, none of those guys are like predominant goal scorers, but I don't think any of them are dumb. If they can just be smart with their hockey IQ, get in on the forecheck, maybe try to, create something offensively. If not, just like keep it in the O zone for as long as possible. And if that's not the case, I think they have a potential of those three guys to be smart defensively. Like, if they're going up against top lines against, I don't know, Tampa, Ottawa, Florida, whatever, then that could be not the best scenario either, but just throwing it out there. Kampf, Yarncroc, Holmberg, all European fourth line. Don't think that would be the worst thing, but we'll see what happens. I guess my second option there would be you bring Reeves back up, and people are going to maybe think I'm crazy here, but you need size to win in the playoffs. You know it. Like, you play the Florida Panthers, they're going to fucking pound you to the ground. They need some type of the Leafs are going to need some type of pushback, some type of fight back. And if Reeves is on the bench, like, will that make the other guys play a little bit bigger in the playoffs? Maybe. I'm not even convinced of that, but I'm just throwing this out there. Reeves, Kampf, Lorentz. And I guess that would be like if Pacioretty can play on the third line. So so Kampf, Yarncroc, Holmberg, there's an option. Kampf, Reeves, Lorentz, there's another option. And depending on who can play and who can't play, the guys I would have out would be Robertson. Don't like the size. Definitely don't like the size in the playoffs. And I don't know, Holmberg or Yarncroc, I guess. Pick your poison. Like, the coach seems to love Holmberg, so he might be the guy that draws in. And Yarncroc looks like he could be near the end of his time with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we'll see. But just there's my thoughts on just they got to try to get the bottom six figured out. Like, they have to. They just have to. I don't like the way it's currently constructed. So, but these are the guys in the mix, right? So you got to do something with these guys. So I don't know. We'll see. They could have done something a little different if they didn't trade Gurbankin and they didn't trade Minton, but that ship has sailed. So here we are with the pieces we're left with. Got to try to put it together and make something make sense. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, I guess I'll go out on. Let me know your thoughts on that, though. Would love to leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on what you would like to see line combination wise. Like, you think McMahon is an absolute lock to be in the top six? I do, but how would you set up your third and fourth line? Let me know in the comments on YouTube. Would love to see your thoughts on that as well. But hey, guess what? Good news before I go. Got some great news for Leafs fans out there. Raising the ticket prices by 20% going into next season. No matter, it's already out there. It's already on the table. The season ticket holders are already got the emails in their inbox raising the prices by 20%. And I believe just for regular tickets, like not season ticket holders, just to get in the building in general, they will be raising those prices as well. So here's a team. Like, look, they love making money. They love the cash cow that is the Toronto Maple Leafs. They love making money. But how do you think fans take, like, you've been a season ticket holder, which are like for years, and like the prices are already astronomical. They're going to rate, like, especially you look at what's going on in the world right now, potential inflation and just all the things that's going on between the States and Canada and whatever. And like, it looks like there's some hard times ahead here. And the Leafs think it's a good idea to go to their fan base that you haven't done anything for in the last, count them, years. I'll just stick with 9 years with this current team, and like hasn't won anything. One playoff series win in the last 9 years, one. And they think it's been a lot longer than that too. But like, I'm just sticking in the last 9 years with this current core, these current core guys. Someone in the upper, management there decides, like, whether it's Pelly or whoever, like, decides, like, yeah, you know what we should really do, like, for our fans who haven't been through enough shit, let's raise the ticket prices by 20%. 20%. Are these guys like oblivious to what's going on in the world? Like, what's going on outside of their little blue and white bubble? Or do they just not give a shit about their fucking fans because they think or know that the fans will pay it anyway? Or do they want to push out some of the season ticket holders that have been there since they moved from the Maple Leaf Gardens to the Air Canada Centre and now Scotiabank Arena, to push the average fan out for more corporate, more sushi and lobster fucking crowd? I don't know, man. Like, it's just, I think it's absolutely crazy at this time going into next season. Regardless of what happens in the playoffs, there could be a first round exit again. They're still, no matter what happens in the playoffs, they're still going to raise the price by 20%. I think that is absolutely brutal. And I look at that as just completely shitting on your fan base, which you haven't done anything for anyway. Oh, when I heard the raising ticket prices by 20%, I was just like, no way. Like, I can't believe that they're doing that, especially at this time. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that as well, because am I the only one that thinks that is absolutely insane? I get it. Like I said, they're a cash cow, cha-ching, cha-ching. If you can get it, if you can get that money, you can get it. But that just puts average fans like me and Chad, like, no chance at taking, like, I don't have kids and stuff like that. Chad does. Like, you want to take your kid, a couple kids to a game and whatever, like, it's hard to do now, like, let alone you want to raise the prices by 20%. Come on. The average fan can't get into the building now without spending a fortune. $20 beers, $200 tickets minimum to sit at the top of the fucking arena. And like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, guys, I think that'll probably do it for this one. Yeah, like I said, Chad's in Mexico, but he will be back at the end of next week. So I might pop on and do one more before then, but which will be 268. But then Chad will be back for episode 269, the extravaganza you've all been waiting for. You're not going to want to miss that one. But anyway, guys, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at the Tip In Maple Leafs Podcast. You can email us at thetipinpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a video or an audio clip of yourself, things you like about the team going into the playoffs, things you don't currently like about the team going into the playoffs, whatever you want to talk about. Send us a short video clip or an audio clip to the thetipinpodcast@gmail.com. We will get your audio or video clips on the podcast for sure. Anyway, Philadelphia Flyers in town on Monday night to play the Toronto Maple Leafs. Should be interesting to see what happens there. I imagine they go back to Stolarz in net, considering that was a team that he formerly played for, Philly. But not only that, just Wall did not have a very strong game on Saturday night in Nashville. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go Leafs, go. Catch you later.
You're listening to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast with your hosts, Chad and Dave.